The man in the post office gets tears in his eyes when he sees me coming in with all these orders. What does that mean to you?
This is Take Two.
There's YouTube handles now. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. I received an email today to like claim mine. But it's like if... Sorry?
Now it's handy.
Very handy, but think of the TikTok that I just like popped up on my feed on the For You page. It was like, YouTube handles are happening. Get as many handles as possible so that then you can sell them.
Yeah, that's like that's what people were doing like when the internet first started, wasn't it? Getting like names that they thought would like people would have
Elon
business
Musk,
with.
what a
So much money.
easy way. Probably easier than NFTs or crypto.
Yeah, definitely. It's not volatile
Handles,
as well.
branding. Anyways, what did I want to tell you? First of all, well done with the collabs, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I've been watching those episodes and all that kind of stuff. Are we rolling? Yeah, we're rolling.
Okay.
I watched episode 1 and 2, and that's actually super.
the third that ends?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Unreal.
Yeah, thank you. That's
I
a big
like
I'm pushing now.
I don't know if you are the only one in Ireland doing something like that right now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to put like the badge on you like that, but in fairness, it's like it's very interesting to see that now you went from streetwear and clothing to storytelling.
Yeah, I think it's like it's weird. It's like the brand was never meant to be linked to like music. That was never like a plan. Okay. But then it just happened to somehow like then people were wearing it, and then like it started getting like a thing. Ocean One is really like they kind of come together, the Irish music scene and Ocean One. So like
in what way?
A lot of our Irish artists will wear it. We supported like we've gone to shows and like sold Ocean One at the shows. Just different things. Like I've been at like been in music videos, things like that. So just kind of like showing that support for the Irish scene, and like it wasn't like an accidental move either. I kind of seen like if you see the UK, the way the UK like the music scene just blew up like crazy. So I started seeing the kind of Irish scene like Officer, A92 getting millions of views on YouTube and in their songs. So I was like kind of like connected that a little. It looks like it was an accident, but it was really thought after.
Okay.
Or, like that was kind of the plan, was to kind of link into the music aspect, the Irish aspect, because I could get into the videos. So then I ended up getting into videos with millions of views. So it was like free marketing. I didn't have to actually pay for that product placement. Like, but then that was how it started off. But then it's gotten to a point now where it's not just a hat in the music video. It's actually gotten to the point where it's like Ocean One is like seen as like connected to the music scene. So that's where the TDE comes in, third it ends. But the artist is kind of like, there's a lot of platforms in the UK that kind of show that more the art is not just the music. So they're where they're from, the kind of like their whole life, that kind of aspect. So I kind of wanted to be the first one to kind of martyr that kind of side of the artists, because they're going to blow up. Like there's so many of them that are like, you wouldn't believe the numbers that Irish artists are getting right now. It's crazy, especially in like grime or like rap. Crazy, like insane.
Oh, so it's unreal. The moment that I went on your episode with A92.
Yeah, case of, yeah.
And then you were talking about Officer, and I'm like, okay, Officer, Spotify. He's nearing like 1 million monthly listeners. Yeah,
they actually have, do you know, Fume is an engineer. It's a really big like platform in the UK. So it's like, he kind of brings you on and you do like a freestyle with him.
Okay.
But they have the highest viewed ever. I think it's like 43 million. Like 43 million, like crazy. So when I seen that, I kind of got a little bit like, how can I get my product in there?
A little bit of that. Where do you see those, where do you see the tour that ends? Not even ending, but what do you want to do with that? Because it's really not Ocean One official based. It's kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, towards the end, collab, here's a t-shirt.
It's not that it's an excuse to do it. It's not that like it's an excuse that I have the brand to like do that. I've always wanted to kind of like get into more media thing, but for me, like right now, the brand is just clothes. So it's like just, that's what it is. Like it's clothing, it's fashion. But obviously the way the world's going now, like it's a bit stupid to be stuck in one kind of lane. So I'm trying to diversify over the next few years. So I want Ocean One to be 3 different parts. So obviously the clothing, which is like the main, that's the brand is the clothing. But then there's going to be 2 other parts, which is media and events. So the media, that's where the third ends comes in. That's where like, it's like, can I get to a point where I can run different ideas, like so different shows that I want to do where it's tour that ends, or maybe even one that's like in a place like this, but then it comes under Ocean One because you're wearing Ocean One clothes in it, or it's branded by Ocean One, so that ties in then to the clothes, and then I have events as well which will tie into the clothes. So it's kind of like, how can I do, like, even it could be even more than that. It's just once I can find things that can link to the clothes. So I'm trying to do all this without paying for too much advertisement. So can I advertise it myself? Can I do tour that ends? Get, say, Ja1, who had this thing, who came on the last episode, can all his fans come watch the show for him, but then without knowing that they're following Ocean One, they're seeing Ocean One, they're actually liking the top, and maybe they're not buying the top, but they're following the brand, and then in the future, like 3 months, they might like,
yeah, or if they bump into it or whatever. Like one thing, let's stick on this actually for a bit, because I love the idea, and like same here, I don't want it to just be that.
Yeah,
I want to expand. And I think a lot of people get very overwhelmed where it's like, I want to do all of this, but that's not happening. So I'm going to do nothing until the time is right. And I think a lot of people wait until the time is right rather than bite the bullet and go, okay, I'm doing clothes right now.
Yeah.
That's it. What's the first step like?
Yeah.
What was that like for you? And just like not holding yourself back, because you're not holding yourself back, but kind of making peace with the fact that you have to be patient.
That's one thing I am, is I'm so impatient. Even now I have ideas. I have ideas for a brand that's like 100k followers and stuff like that. I have ideas that are crazy. So it's like money and followers is a problem. So I have ideas now that like once it hits, like it's over. Like it's crazy. I have so many ideas that are like in a little book that are like insane.
Yeah.
Like that's
just like top of the list.
Yeah, that's right now. It's just focus on trying to get to that point, and once I get to that point, it's just like take off from there.
So what are you doing now to not even fight with that patience, but are you just like pushing away and working so that you get closer to those ideas? Yeah,
like I'm still working on them kind of things. So like just even like there's things I'm doing for the future that people don't even know that they're seeing. Like, so even take, for example, when I launched the first pair of cargos that I had, everything is like a step in the future for me. So like on the cargos, it was actually like a label and I had a number on it, but no one knew what the number was. But then like, I think it was 4 months later, I literally put up my story saying anyone that bought the cargos, there's a number on your cargos, there's a discount. So it's things like that. So I'm looking into the future of how can I like get that little move ahead. So right now I'm planning on things for next year, even planning on things for next month as well. I have ideas for. When does this come out?
Probably like 2-3 months probably.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Go
So
on, launch, boom, spit.
Yeah. So next month I have an idea of I want to do a pop-up for Christmas, but it's so hard to like I don't want to like spend so much money to get like a place, like, do you know what I mean? And I don't want to like be in like Urban Outfitters, because like there's no point. I'm just giving advertisement to them and then I'm paying to be in a little small section. Like my whole thing is, it's more of a culture-based thing rather than just a clothing brand. So I'm trying to like, I want people to like be going to these events that I'm running and then like meeting other people that like mess with the brand and then becoming friends through that, or like getting basically like a community around the brand. So what I want to do hopefully next month is rent out a van and like have like a whole like delivery kind of van kind of aspect of a thing with rails in the back. So then we'll go to 2 locations in town, pull the rails out. We'll be there for an hour.
Yeah.
Put the location on Instagram, whoever comes.
Shit, like a stuff, treasure hunt somehow.
Yeah, things like that. So it's like, kind of like, it's also a way of, okay, I don't have the money to do a big pop-up shop, but can I do it? Can I get an advantage of even not having that money? Can I do an advantage of this is really good for marketing, because it's like, you're there for an hour and you're gone. So it's like, it's a disadvantage right now, but I'm trying to use it as an advantage as well. Do you get frustrated at that? So frustrated. I get frustrated all the time. Yeah, it's like having $1 million plans with like a €100 budget. Like it's so frustrating, but I think out of frustration comes amazing ideas. And then it's like figuring out the perfect execution without spending too much. It's always about money, unfortunately. Yeah. And then it's like, I'm slept on. Don't sleep on me. That gives me drive as well. Yeah. Is the sleeping on aspect. Like that gives me so much drive. For sure. Yeah. What I find interesting, and I see that with you, is right now you're at this stage where artists are collaborating with you. You're getting massive attention from and good feedback from people at the
not the top of their game. They can go higher, but
Yeah.
you're getting that. But it's the people, like, you're getting good stuff from there. But then on the other end, it's like, why are people still not like believing these and following you?
Yeah.
And I get stuck in that sometimes. I made peace with it because I'm trying to understand that, like, listen, there's no point in being frustrated and somewhat jealous. Like, I had to admit that concept of, it feels shitty, but like, yeah, I do feel a little bit jealous right now.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, no, like, my time will come. I trust in my talent. I trust in these people that have made it further than I have. That, like, okay, their intentions are right. Whoever wants to chime in and listen and stick around, like, thank you, I appreciate you. Please stick around, like, stay there for the long ride, and then, like, I'll make you feel better in a few years, kind of.
Yeah. Even with me, it's like, I still have the names of the first people that, like, bought my brand. Like, even like, when I first launched my first hats, like, it was like just friends that bought them. But obviously I faked it to make it look like it was like loads of people buying them. But I know who were the first people that weren't friends. Do you know what I mean? So I know, like, them people, I have their addresses and stuff like that on Shopify. So when I get to a stage where I can actually give back, like, they'll all get refunded for their orders, or they'll get sent out, like, they'll be added to like a gold card system or something like that. Like, I'll always look after people that looked after me at the start, if you get me. So just being patient, putting the work in, getting to a point where I can actually, like, that's one thing for me is, like, I am very money driven, but I'm also like, I want to get to a point where I can actually, like, not have that, like, a worry. I can actually do things, like, not in just a money kind of mindset. Like, can I go and give out this amount of t-shirts? Can I go, like, run this event, or like just give back in some sort of way? Like, I want to get to a point where I can actually give back, not because it, like, makes me look good, but because I actually want to give back.
You have to.
Yeah.
I think I really believe in good karma in that sense, where, like,
100%.
just being a sound person, hopefully with whatever, not failure, but, like, obviously there will be, like, downfalls and whatever part of the journey, that if you are consistently sound, they will, like, be like, no, you know, this is not him, whatever, and they'll stay. What was it like for you when you're like, okay, I'm toying with the idea of a streetwear brand. I'm going to do it. I designed it. I have the samples. All right, ready to go. Live. Here's this amazing thing. Here's this trucker hat.
Yeah.
And then it's just your friends that bought it.
Like, I actually had that money spent in my head. The next investment. I had a whole plan. And that's the thing. I think now it's like, I still plan, but I don't plan as much as I used to. Like, then it was like, okay, I have these hats. I'll sell these hats at this price, make this money. Then I'll get into this, I'll buy this, invest in this, that kind of thing. So, like, I had all these plans, and then I had maybe, like, say 8 plans in a row, but the first one just didn't take off. So them other 7 were, like, gone already from the first time. Like, so it was like, I don't know, it was like, it should have probably made me, like, not want it, like, not, like, to just stop. And maybe it should have made me just stop. But for me, it actually, like, weirdly gave me, like, a hunger of, like, I actually want to do it more. Like, it made me want to prove people wrong. Like, because so many people, like, supported, put it on their story, like, shared it and stuff, but no one was buying. Like, no one wanted to, like, be the first one. Like, no one wanted to, like, I think like people that was hanging around, but, like, they didn't really want, some of them didn't really want to be like, oh, like, he's doing clothes, like, that kind of thing. It was like a bit of, like, until you get to a certain point, then people will always support you. But getting to that first point of, like, a little bit of success, it's so hard because you're so, like, you're by yourself. There's like, people don't want to put their neck over something that you might stop in 3 months, 4 months, like.
Yeah.
So.
Did you care about what people think of you before that?
No.
You were like always like that.
Always. I don't know what it is. I just never, like, ever. Even now, it's like even I'm the same with praise and with the opposite. Like, so even people that are like, oh, this is amazing, like, this, like, yes, thank you, I do appreciate it. Like, and I do take it all in, but it's also like, it's not like I don't take hate to heart, so I don't take that much to heart either, because I know I can do better in that kind of way. So it's like, I think you're a bit of a hypocrite if you, like, say you don't listen to the hate, but then you listen to the praise as well. So I'm kind of like, I don't listen to too much of anything. No noise. I just, like, have a vision that I'm going towards.
So when you made that decision of, okay, this didn't sell and I didn't perform too well, put those plans aside, what was that active decision that you made in that point in time that's like, okay, I'm still going to do this.
Yeah.
let's go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
So I doubled up basically, right?
Okay.
So in my head, it was like, so actually the reason I had the hats, first of all, was because they were unisex, they were one size. So it was like, I think that everyone could have, and I didn't have to like take too much risk. So then people were saying like, oh, I don't wear hats. So that's why they weren't buying. So I was like, oh, kind of like, what do I do now? So then I was like, I either quit or I release clothes. Like I released t-shirts. So t-shirts were the kind of cheapest thing to release. So I was like, I doubled up. And then at this point, I wasn't making them by myself. So there was minimum orders of 100. So like I had white tees and black tees. So it was 100 of each. I had the white trucker and the blackout trucker. So it was 100 of each. So I had all this stock like there. Again, I thought people wanted to buy tops, wanted to buy clothes. This is where people will support me now. So a lot of people were kind of saying, I don't wear hats, I'm not going to buy a hat. So grand, now I have t-shirts. Put them up, failed again.
Yeah.
So
try boxers yet?
No, that's actually, so many people say that. It's such a weird thing.
Look, if they tell you I don't wear boxers either, you're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, exactly. Apparently they were nothing. I doubled up and then got put back down again.
Yeah.
So my whole thing in my head was, it was because they don't wear hats. But then I realized it's not because they don't wear hats. It's because they're like, people don't want to. It's also with, and I get it as well. You're looking at a brand, but like maybe 150 followers. Like, does it look legit? Like, I know it's legit, but to them, this is just 200 followers, 100 followers. There's not really much known about the brand. It's just a random brand on Instagram. So
yeah.
I don't know why in my head at the start I thought like these are going to be buying straight away.
Part of the process, though.
100%, and
I think that's how Gymshark started, with just their logo on it, because that's the one thing I'll say it here. But like the interesting thing that when I scrolled back in this research was he started out with Ocean One Official. Yeah. Like you started out with, here's this brand you don't know of, hat.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a ballsy move, man.
Yeah. I don't think I really thought much through, to be honest. And I think it was like, it probably like, it was actually, looking back on it now, the best thing that could have happened, because that gave me more of a fire, and it actually made me go and look for better ways. Look for, okay, how can I sell the clothes without just selling like, here's a t-shirt? Like, do I build on the brand itself? So then that's how I got into like going to the shows, emailing managers like Sappho for Officer, like putting the kind of draw the connection, being able to go and like, it kind of like, that was a big turning point for the brand, because I was at that stage where I was about to quit. So I had the second failure. I was about to quit. I emailed him. I got a message back from him. He basically gave me like a deadline where an Officer's show was, so I could go do the show. I could put the hats on the artists. So the only thing was as well with the hats, I had loads of hats there. So I was like, what do I do with all these hats, right? But somehow I managed to get in contact with Sappho, and he said he'll put them on. He's a manager of some of the A92 guys. He said he'll put them on in their videos on the hat. So it was great. They were getting millions of views, but it was an 01 on the hat. It wasn't actually saying Ocean One, so no one knew what the 01 was. Yeah. So that was another thing as well. So it was all just being knocked down.
Learn from the mistakes.
Crazy. So then it was like, by going to that show, by kind of like, even though no one knew what Ocean One was, by me having the pictures of them wearing it on the Instagram, it legitimized it. It made it look like, oh, they're actually, these are not just, it's not an online thing. It's like people are wearing it. There's just people buying it now. Like, it was that really slow process of trying to show people that it was actually legit. If that makes sense, which is kind of a bit that I didn't really like think of at the start. But again, I was only, I think 21 when I started the brand, or 20 actually, when I started the brand. So these were things that I just took for granted. Yeah. That, like, you know, get into the whole business thing. But they're valuable lessons now, because now, like, again, everything happens for a reason. Like now, like, it's like made me invest in, okay, how can I make the clothes myself to make them cheaper? Because I was spending minimum orders of 100, like things which is so expensive.
A lot of people start off, oh, this is eco-friendly, this is sustainable, and all that, and it's like, mate, unless you're a multi-millionaire. Expensive.
Like that's a problem you come to down the line. Yeah. Build your brand first and then get into that kind of thing. And that's what I want to do that. But can I do that now? With my budget? No. Okay.
And did you have a following before, regardless of Ocean One? You were creating content as a PT or something? Or?
Yeah, I was a personal trainer before, but like...
Did you log off and then just like come back up on social media with Ocean One? Was it like a package deal with you and the brand?
Do you know what it was? It was like... It was
just
like
having a marketing session over here.
No, it was even that. It was like there's no connection between streetwear and like personal training.
Yeah.
There was no connection, so it also looked weird.
Yeah. But was it you as the personal trainer, or was it more just fitness focused?
It was like fitness focused.
Yeah.
But then I started falling out of love with fitness. So it was kind of putting up a front of fitness. And that's when the lockdown came. That's when getting it more into like, I actually like creating stuff.
Yeah.
But I never showed that kind of side.
I see.
So it was actually like me coming out with like my creative side. Like even in school and stuff like that, I kind of hid that side a lot as well. So
I think that's what happens when you go down a path or like a really specific niche, but you don't not even be yourself, because like you're young, you don't even know yourself at the time, you don't even know yourself now, you're closer to getting there. But it's also like if you strictly talk about one thing without a little bit of you in it, then if you fall out of love with it, you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah, what do I do now?
What do I say? What do I do now?
Yeah, 100%.
So then you just don't post anymore.
Yeah, I did it even get to that. It kind of, pretty much. But I was kind of, I didn't go to just not posting. I kind of went to like maybe posting once a week to like posting once a month or whatever. But then I started wearing the hats in the video and started kind of trying to push it towards that. And the views were going down because no one actually cared about the hats that was watching the videos.
That.
Yeah, so it was tough.
People love to box people in.
Yeah.
And I think it just happens naturally. It's like you're this to me.
Yeah.
If you're no longer this,
then what use?
Then why am I gonna stick around?
100%. And like, but then again, it's like, again, everything happens for a reason. So if that had taken off a lot, so if the PT thing or the fitness thing took off so much and I got to a stage where like that was big and I hated it, then I was like, oh, like, this is me.
The shock.
This is what I'm known as. This is me. So then you kind of become that person, and I probably would have never stopped doing that because I was just like, if I was successful at that, I would have just put a brave face on and went through that. But the best thing was that didn't. So then I can actually do now what I find like my real passion is. Yeah. So yeah, it was like it's a long journey. It wasn't like you see people that start brands and overnight the first night they get 100k sales overnight. Like it wasn't like that, which I think that is good, but like that grind as well can add so much to a brand. Like that failure, like is like so that like most successful people have gone through failure. No one just wakes up overnight and is successful. So they like that adds so much attributes to a person.
What's your relationship right now with failure?
I'm comfortable with it. Very comfortable, probably too comfortable.
Okay. Like elaborate.
So I don't really see failure as a bad thing. So it's like I take a lot of risks, but it doesn't faze me. And like I don't know, I think I'm so comfortable with failing that I have so much confidence that something's gonna click. Like it's bound to happen. In my head, it's bound to happen. It's like it's just when.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah, it's just when. It's just waiting for that time, putting the work in. I think if you put work in something for long enough, it's bound to blow. Like if it was something that like, you know, people are saying like, oh, like I can't believe this doesn't have more followers or this doesn't have more. If it's something like that, where for me the only thing that maybe like it needs is to have that following or to have the reach, then it's like, okay, just keep your head down, keep working towards that, because like
something will stick. And then the moment that 100%. You know that it sticks, you're like, yep, let's push on that. Like that's where my money's going. That's it. So when I want to go back to the moment that you were at the academy with Office and like you're behind the scenes seeing all these artists do their thing and be in love with the process, right? What lesson did you take away from that night specifically? That
night just gave me more hunger. It kind of showed me like, I don't know, I think even in Ireland it's such a thing of like, it's such a small country. It's so, there is successful people, but it's kind of like you're put in a box of being Irish. So like you're Irish music or it's an Irish brand. It's never like just a brand or just an artist. It's an Irish thing. You're kind of put into like a small island kind of mentality. So I think there's not a lot of role models, if you get me. So you can't, like, you don't really see a lot of it. So I think being at the Officer show, seeing him on stage with all these people, it kind of puts into perspective, like, this is actually a real thing. This is happening. And I think if you look back on this, like these moments in like 10, 15 years, this will be pivotal moments of like that scene growing. So like, again, that's not just that scene. That could be fashion scene. That can be every scene. So everything is starting to like pick up now because of the internet, because of TikTok. it gives everyone the power. Like, so people in Ireland have a phone, people in the UK have a phone, so you have the same audience that they do. So there's no longer being put in an Irish box, if you get me. It's like the world is your oyster, really. You can grow anything you want right now.
And keep doing it and keep pushing.
Yeah, it's crazy. You have like the reach you have now is insane. Like, it blows my mind that like every single person, I know it's like it's a whole game of getting the followers and stuff, but like, so you have the like reach of the whole world. Like if you look back at like 50 years ago, that wasn't a thing. You put like ads in newspaper. If you had a clothing brand, like that wasn't even having a clothing brand wasn't a thing for a normal person. Like you had to like be a son of a tailor, or like if you look at all the designers, they were all sons of tailors, or their moms made dresses or something like that. It was a family thing that you got brought into. Like you didn't just wake up and think, oh, I like clothes, I'm gonna start a brand. Like the power you have now is crazy. Anyone can start an Instagram with any brand or any product or anything that they want to get into. Like it's just a thing of putting your head down and like realizing that like the power you have at your fingertips is crazy.
You're inspired by opportunity.
Yeah. It just like when you think back at like, you're not meant to have like that reach. Like people like hundreds of years ago had like a village of just like cousins and family, or like you knew everyone's name, they like knew your name. Like you're not meant to have even people that, like the average person, 1,000 followers. You're not meant to have that reach even. I
know.
That like people like that just baffles me that people don't like that doesn't like
they don't think
them.
That's like, oh no, I need 10K. And like,
when you post like and 1,000 people are seeing that, like that's not normal. Like that's such a modern thing. Like even like as well, people always say like, oh, I don't have a following, I can't start something. Like when 400 people or 500 people are seeing your story, that's 500 people that you're able to advertise to.
Oh yeah, like it's crazy. Same with just content in general. Like even your views, it's like put that in a cinema, then come back and talk.
Yeah, or like even like school. If you think of your school, so if you had 1,000 people at school, like most people have 1,000 followers on Instagram. So you have that whole school of people following you, which is auditorium. Like. Yeah, when you actually put it into
shit.
like
looking at my photo dumps.
Yeah, that like that's the thing. You have the power of like that. Like even if it's just putting up anything you want on Instagram for fun, you can turn it into a business as well. Yeah, so it's just opportunity.
Do you find yourself in a loop where you're constantly comparing yourself to others?
Not really anymore. Probably when I was younger, a lot, but now it's kind of. I think like I kind of mold myself to people that I'm around. So I also kind of mold myself to people that I would like if I watch a movie or a series, I like not become that person, like, but I like get really like into that kind of like their mind or whatever. It's weird. So I think I can be really influenced. So if I'm like watching too much, if I'm seeing a certain like person on Instagram or something that I'm watching their thing too much, I kind of mold myself to them a little bit. So then that kind of like, it's weird because like the designs come from my head. So like the actual clothes then get molded by that as well, which is weird. So I kind of try not to. I try say my own name, because if I'm kind of like, even if I'm like maybe take, I don't know, Kanye West. Yeah. If I was watching him too much, then my clothes might become like his, which then makes my brand. Oh. So it's weird. It's a weird thing. So I try to stay in my own lane as much as possible, because I'm really like mold myself to like people that I see, which I don't really mean to, but it's just subconscious.
Photoshop his face.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I want to talk a little bit about your business process, because I hope anyways, if there's anyone that's like young and is toying with the idea of like creating or starting up a fashion business, although there are a shit ton of articles and the best way to learn is to do. Yeah. How did you get started? Like, what is your process like? Do you design the thing? Do you print it? I know you hand print, which is quite cool. Yeah. And do it yourself.
That was that was just because of failure. It was just because I needed a way to not have to get 100 minimum orders. And then now that's like my whole thing of like, I actually love the whole process of it.
So did you buy yourself like a machine and all that?
Yeah, just a heat press. But now I cut the vinyl myself as well. So it's all in-house, unless it's like a design where it's like really complicated, where it's loads of colors, then it's like I get them in the UK, but mostly it's just like something like this, it's just printed by myself.
Okay, so you buy blanks?
Yeah, so like it's the process is really simple, but it's also really complicated, as in finding the perfect blank. So I get so many messages like by people saying, oh, I want to start a brand, like where do you get your blanks from? That is the hardest thing. That's where I spent thousands on getting samples or getting blanks, and it comes and this is not what I ordered. Like it's like this is once you can find a good like blanks, like you can start a brand just off the blank. Like, but that is the hardest part. Like, so these are from Portugal, so it's like it's literally Google searches and then Google searches and then Google searches and then
page 5 or something on Google.
Yeah, and then it's like finding this thing and it's like, do I trust it? And then you order and you're like, oh my god, like this is like a hidden gem. It's crazy. But then I used to have a manufacturer, but then Brexit happened. So then like it's so many things and like, it's just complicated. But once you can find a good blank, like you're sorted. Like but that's at a stage of a small brand. But it will get to a point like if you grow your brand that you like I won't be able to print everything myself.
Yeah.
So then I'll have to find a manufacturer.
Okay.
But for now, it's like, how can I like put the most out with the least amount of money? So like, even the clothes, like I don't make that much money off the clothes right now.
What do you make money off of?
I make money off the clothes, but not as much as you'd think.
Oh, okay.
So it's so expensive. So the more you're buying, the cheaper it is. So when you don't have a big budget, you're not spending like. You're not buying like minimum orders of 100. Like you might be buying like the 50s or whatever. So it's more expensive as well. So it's like right now the costs are really, really high, but it's in the hope that the brand grows to a point where I'm starting to get loads more orders in. That then I can cut the cost down myself. So
do you work like with pre-orders or?
Yeah, that's the thing that like that's
I think
probably
that saves your best business.
That is the secret for anyone that's trying to start a brand. Like that is the secret that like I don't want to be doing that forever. Because for me it's not like. I personally like don't want to be waiting for a product for that long. I don't like having people wait for a product that long. It just messes with my head. Even now, I pre-orders. I'm thinking about every day. I'm like, I have to get these out. I have to order this. Wait for this to come in. Like it really frustrates me.
And then once you set a deadline, the moment that order went through, it's like, oh, can I have one, please?
Yeah, and it's like you don't think about like this weekend was a bank holiday, so that's another day on. So then the postage is backed up then as well. So it's when you're playing with pre-orders, you're playing a very risky game. You then have someone that says like. It says 2 weeks, it's been 15 days. Like it's things like that.
Working days,
yeah. So it's like really, really frustrating. But the only thing is like, again, the 2 t-shirts that I had launched. So I might launch I launched them 2 t-shirts. That's all I had on the site. So you mightn't like that design. You're not going to be able to buy. But if I can do pre-orders, like I can have like unlimited designs. I can have anything I can possibly think of. I can put up on my site. And then people are like, oh, I don't like this one, but I like this one. So then they're able to buy that, and I can then put out basically a full collection without having to have a full collection like in my hands. If that makes sense. So basically, it's like my creativity can run free. I can put out like, you know, a blue, a black, a white, all like of a t-shirt in the same design. So someone might like the black design, but they might like the blue one. So it's like again, it's just giving people more options, being able to do more. But usually, my kind of process is like getting one of each. Doing a photo shoot with that one of each and then being able to sell it like on the site, like so you can still see what it will look like. It's not just a picture on the site, if you know what I mean. So
it's like mock-up.
Yeah, exactly. But the pre-order thing is like the best thing I've ever found. Like it's crazy, especially like when you first start, like you think you have to have all this in your like bedroom. Like I have boxes in my bedroom of like 100 hats that I didn't sell, or the 95 hats that were still there. Like,
are they still there?
No, them hats like
just got tossed over at the office.
Actually, them hats were given out free to so many people. If anyone was buying like orders, I was throwing them into that. Like I was literally they were like just flying out to everyone. Like I actually still probably have like 15 of them black ones. Like mad.
Gosh.
Like, but people that will have them will like have them forever now as well. That'll be a thing now. Like actually, anyone that has them hats, if you see this in like 10 years time, hit me up and you'll get a free order.
If they're still all right, I'm good. Up Portugal.
They'll be a bit dusty.
So is it just the one supplier that you have right now? Or do you have like a little bit of a directory?
I used to have a few suppliers, but now I've narrowed it down to one, so that it's all the sizes kind of the same. So there was a point where like the hoodies were like, or the t-shirts were very oversized, but the hoodies weren't. So like you have to size down on the tees, but not on the hoodies, and then it was just too much. So now it's like this supplier that I have is a little bit more expensive, but at least it has the whole like the sizing of everything is kind of sized down on everything. Like, so
is that bag from that one as well?
This bag is actually, it's just a sample.
Oh,
got made. This was never meant to release.
That's ever. Unreal. So you just like toy with fashion?
For me, it's not that I don't like buying things, right? It's like, for me, it's like if I buy another brand, it's like I'm not showcasing my brand, if that makes sense. So like I have other things that I just don't wear because I feel like I'm cheating on my own brand, if that makes sense. So with the bag, it's like I really wanted to have a side bag, but I didn't want to. Not only didn't want to spend a lot of money on another bag, but it's like, can I make one myself that I can showcase my brand? This was just meant to be like an advertising thing of walking around with the Ocean One on it. But then I went to an event last Friday. People were asking about it, like male and female. So it's crazy. It's one of them things that like it's an accident, but it could be the thing that like takes your brand over, you know, that kind of way. So it's like even like t-shirts and stuff, like I'll make t-shirts just for events that I go to, and then people will say, oh my god, that's sick, and then I'll actually launch that t-shirt. So it's like things like that.
The power of doing it by yourself and independently, that actually allows you to do that. You don't need to consult with anyone. You just literally sit down, put in the hours, print it. Yeah,
and that's the thing, is like that's what I do in my free time is just design. Yeah, like I love designing. Like that's my thing. So for me, it's like fun to make the tops. It's fun to make the bags. Like it's a whole like process that I love, and I think that's like when I know that I'm doing what I should be doing, because it's for me, it's not work. For me, I'm working all day, but I'm not actually working. I actually feel like I feel like I'm just at home all day, but I'm not. I'm putting effort in. I'm grinding, like, and people see it. But for me, it's like, I don't know. It's not like work at all. It's like it's a hobby for me, but it's just making money to making moves as well at the same time. So I'm so grateful for that.
If you were to say, like, now, how long have you been doing this for? A year now?
Since last March.
Last March, okay. A year and a half, so something like that. What, like, are you kind of understanding or figuring out what this brand could stand for later on? Like further down the line? Did you pinpoint it yet?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, the brand for me is more so just like something that I can like have my creativity come out into. Like, so the brand, what it is now, in like 5 years time, could be the complete opposite. I could be in a different stage of my life. It's like the clothes could change. Like it's just so much dependent on just my mind. The brand is literally my mind put out into clothes. Like, and it actually amazes me that people buy them. Like for me, it's just making things that I like, and people also like them. So it's crazy. But I think the brand will stand for a lot more. But for right now, it's like, it's more of kind of showcasing what Irish people can do, what an Irish brand can do. It's like, you know, the UK has their brands, but the Irish doesn't have their brands.
Why does that mean so much to you, the Irish concept?
I don't know what it is. I think in Ireland, there's like two types of people. There's one person that's jealous of an Irish person doing well, and there's one person that wants to support the Irish person doing well. I think it's like showcasing what we can do, but it's like some people think like, you know, an Irish artist, there can't be an Irish artist. Like there can't be an Irish rapper. Like an Irish rapper, that's crazy. So it's them Irish rappers that are putting it on the stage for other kids to now see, oh, we actually can do this. I love music. I can make music. For me, with the brand is like, it's also a thing of like, there wasn't really a brand for me to look at that I could think I want to be like this. That wasn't Ireland. It was always Off-White. It was always American brands or UK brands. It was never an Irish brand. So to me, it was impossible. You go to Brown Thomas, there was no Irish brands. You go to any shops, there was no Irish brands. So it was always impossible. So for me, it's like, is there a kid out there that's going to see Ocean One and think, oh my God, like if he can do it, I can do it. Like most of the time, it's like someone sees a t-shirt and if they say, I can make that, again, that is the whole point of the brand. It's so you go and make the t-shirt. It's so you look at the brand and think, that looks easy, I can do that myself. It's so that more brands come out of Ireland, so more kids actually go and chase that passion. Like that's what the brand means right now. It could change in a few years, but for now, it's like, it's given like, not inspiration, because I don't think it's like an inspiration per se, but it's more of like a show to showcase that like it can be done, but can you make a better one? Like, can you make a brand that's going to be better than Ocean One? But yeah, for me, it's Ireland. Just I think is growing in every way. With the podcasts, there wasn't Irish podcasts, there wasn't Irish artists, there wasn't Irish brands. So now it's kind of like a big wave for pushing Irish out, which I think is sick.
Yeah, like the support. I think people are just doing it all of a sudden.
Yeah,
and committing to it. That's what I really liked about the pandemic. Weirdly enough, is all the passion projects that started. Who's still doing it?
100%.
Who is still, like, I'd love to know the numbers over there, or if there is a statistic, like the jewelry, the clothing, the t-shirts, because so many. And it's like, unless it was causing you grief, keep going, ideally, you know, like if it makes you
100%.
happy.
Yeah, and that's like, I think they're like, with me as well, as I want to do something that I love. So I think I see my mom especially, like, she like hates her job. She's getting up early in the rain, going to work. She's coming back when it's dark as well. It's like a whole thing of like, she has to do that to support me since I was a kid. So it's seeing that and wanting a better life for me, for her, for my family. It's a whole thing of like, I want to live a life where like I can have nice things. I can not worry about money, but it's also like I want to wake up and actually think, oh, I got to do this today. It's not I have to do this today.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like seeing her put all that work in just makes me want to be able to do that work, but in a way that I actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of scared me into a little bit.
Without sounding too negative, what is one thing that if you could change or shake up like the Irish nation in terms of supporting one another, what would it be? Or what would you tell them? Maybe not Irish people in general, maybe people global.
I don't know. I think once you kind of commit to actually supporting other people, like it becomes so much easier. I think the whole thing of like, it's a little bit like, because Ireland's so small, it's like nearly everybody knows each other, or not everybody knows someone that knows someone. So it's like people kind of feel like, well, why can he do that? Like, why isn't that me? I think it's a lot of like, you're afraid to even be that, like even like artists and stuff like that aren't even at a stage where they're huge. So it's like being that kind of first person to support something is like a risk in people's heads. So what if you support Ocean One and the brand's gone in a year? You looked a bit like, you feel like you look stupid because you're supporting something that didn't actually be successful. So I think it's just about like, you need them people to support you to actually be successful. You can't be successful first and then have people support you. So it's like, I don't know. I think people need to just go with it, man.
Yeah, I actually have a screenshot from your story today,
okay,
which I want to read out to you. And you said, "The man in the post office gets tears in his eyes when he sees me coming in with all these orders." What does that mean to you? Or how does that make you feel?
Good. It's even like going into the post office when I first used to go in, it was like one or two things. Like, then it was like, I used to actually have to make the post look like there was a lot. If I was taking a photo of other orders, it was like spreading them out to look good.
Why did you feel the need to do that?
Again, I think it was a whole thing of like, you have to kind of fake it until you make it.
Do you believe in that principle now that you actually do have a shit ton of orders?
Yeah, I just think people are really, I think there's just trends again. So people, they kind of like hop on trends as well. So it's like, if people see someone doing well and someone is like, people are buying off a certain brand, they'll kind of think, oh, like I must also buy into this brand. So I think if you see like one order, two orders, people think, oh, it mustn't be that good. Like, so
okay,
it gets to a point now where like, I'm at the post office and people are actually annoyed that like there's a line out the post office waiting for me to post all the orders. Like, so I think it takes a big turn where now I don't actually have to do that anymore. But I think maybe at that stage it was more of like I had so much confidence in myself that it was going to happen, but it wasn't happening. So maybe it was trying to show that it was to people.
I see.
Sense. Yeah.
It's a tough one for me. I completely understand what you're saying in principle. I get it. It's more like, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not you, and we're not here to argue whatsoever. But it's like I'm trying to figure out why did you feel that? Why was it that people need to see a packed out box?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm questioning. I'm questioning the principle of why did you feel the urge to do that? And I know for sure that the post itself would have performed better because it was beefier, like the package was beefier, you know? And I think it goes back to our, like what we started off with, where it's like but very few people want to support you from the start. Very few people want to publicly support you from the start. There's that, like, sometimes anonymity helps in that regard, where it's like, oh, I don't know these people, you know, I just like, there's no face to the brand, but you are being brave enough where you are posting on Ocean One Official. Not as keen on, I don't think that many people know your name, but they know your face.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, you're putting you're being vulnerable, and I appreciate that, you know. Where were we going with this? Oh yeah, the postman and him being teary-eyed. Yeah, I think that made me really smile, because I was like, look at that, you know, like your local people are now like seeing you.
That was a big, like, even in the post office, like I know them all, like they know me as well. It's a thing of like they're actually like happy that I'm getting more orders in. Like, whereas at the start it was like, oh, like you can do him, like you're just coming here with like 5 orders now, and like, but now it's like a whole thing of like they give me help of like, oh, do this and you'll get your post cheaper, or like they're basically making it easier for me from like as you started seeing me come in more and more and more, I was getting that like that relationship with them as well. Yeah, even like my postman was obviously always delivering packages to me of like the blanks and stuff, like, so then I got a relationship with him. So it's like, it's crazy, like the whole the brand is not just like, even for me posting out the orders, like they don't go to people in my head, like, because to me that's just going out, like that's not I forget that like all these orders are real people
that are waiting and looking forward to your package.
Yeah, and they're like wearing it out. Yeah, like to me that's crazy.
What's your favorite collection actually?
My favorite collection is, it just sounds like I'm trying to like market here, but my next collection, but actually this isn't coming out now, so yeah, my next collection, crazy. I think my next collection is, the last collection was one that I thought was like the best one, but this one has like come off that.
Was that the tracksuit one?
Yeah, that was the one, like, so for that one we did the IKEA shoot. Yeah. We shot in IKEA, we did a shoot in Mayo as well, which was crazy, and then we did a shoot like where I'm from as well. So that one for me was like, that was the first kind of collection. The other ones weren't collections.
Yeah, it was like a cohesive,
it was a
thought out plan.
Exactly, the designs all kind of linked in together, whereas this one is the same as that, but just on a way bigger scale.
What are you doing?
This one I think I have I think 2 tracksuits, 4 tees, a crew neck, a bag, and then there's also like girls hoodies and girls tees, so like crop kind of things as well. Yeah. So it's like, even at the start of the brand it was just male stuff, but now it's getting into like female stuff as well. Like it's like this whole, it's so much more cohesive as a brand. It's like I'm able to target more things. Like even like I want to get to a point where just some things in a collection that are kind of there for sales. So it's a top that's easy to wear. It's like that kind of thing. It's more like, say maybe there's 4 t-shirts, like 2 of them are like ones that I think is a sick design. 2 of them are ones that are going to sell better. Yeah,
like basic.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to get to a stage where it's like people are buying the brand for my designs to the point where I don't have to think about that.
Like stepping into the artist version of you more, leaning into you being an artist.
Can I be a bit more wild with the designer and stuff like that? So it's like getting to that stage, but obviously slowly. So yeah,
I love that.
Crazy.
The one thing that I know that anyone who's creative, that is working on their craft and doing it, I think we all share that moment where we're scrolling, it's the middle of the day, middle of the night, you're by yourself, you're in flow state, and then that chirpy, over like doubtful voice is like, why the fuck are you doing this?
100% all the time.
I hate it, but like I know that everyone has gone through it. How did you shut that voice out or quieted it to a point where you're like, no, this is gonna work? Yeah. How do you know that?
I actually get, you know what, it's not just a random, I get this all the time as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how I shut it out. I think I actually have got so much doubt from so many people that even my own doubt doesn't faze me. It's so weird. For me, it's like, it's actually like there's like a demon inside me that is like trying to prove people wrong. So it's also nearly prove myself wrong.
Why do you want to prove people wrong so bad?
I don't know. And I think that's probably like nearly an excuse for to constantly push forward, to constantly not look a failure. It's like to prove people wrong.
Okay.
It's a way of like telling myself that like keep going is to be able to like, even when I get to the point where I make it, I don't know what I'm going to do.
You're going to come back to me and say, I still need to prove people wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when have I proven people wrong? Probably now I've proven people wrong already. So for me, it's like probably just in my head of a thing, like to keep myself pushing forward.
Yeah.
Is having that in my head that like, oh, people doubt you, like keep going. Like that for me is like the biggest fuel. Like for me, it's like hate or doubt is like, it's an advantage for me. It's something that I probably, maybe when I first started getting it, I was insecure about it. It was something that did like phase me, But I've probably told myself so much that it doesn't matter, that now it's actually coming into an advantage for me. So I've trained myself to nearly use that as fuel. So for me, hate is just fuel now.
Okay.
And it's dangerous.
Yeah, like I respect it, but I also go like, ideally you have a more positive fuel, but then it depends on the person as well.
I think,
you know,
I think it's
that will become unhealthy at one point, no?
Yeah, I think again, it's like, it's just crazy. Like, especially TikTok, like, you know, Irish again. It's so much. There's so much hate. There's so much not wanting to see other people do well. There's so much of that, and I think when you're getting all this, I think you really have to have that mindset. You have to be thick-skinned, to go out and, especially in Ireland, to put yourself on at such a vulnerable like stage. Like, you have to go and use that as fuel, or else you're going to get eaten alive by it. So it's like that doubt for me is the only thing that can keep me pushing forward. But it's not even just doubt from like random people. It's doubt from friends. It's doubt from family. It's things like that. It's
your own voice sometimes as well. Yeah,
exactly. So for me, it's like I have to use that as fuel, or else I wouldn't be here doing it today.
The one thing I kind of read up about in terms of like limiting beliefs is execution. Like, use execution as proof. So that's something that has really helped me, because before I was very much like, oh, prove them wrong. But then it used to cripple me inside if I did fail, because then my head would go, they're right.
Okay.
And that was what was keeping me back sometimes, or slowing me down. Where if now in hindsight, do we say, in hindsight, I was just in my way. I was the one slowing myself down. Whereas now it's like execution is my proof. Me constantly showing up, and I will get confident.
Yeah.
Confidence comes through execution. And when you think about it, like, sure, you were confident with your first hat. How confident are you now, though, if you were to look at like where your clothing is at now and your design experience?
Crazy. It's execution.
But that's execution for you.
Okay.
Where it's like, of course you needed confidence to start. Everyone needs that little bit of belief in that greater picture. But it's also like, all right, you know, I'm still here. Where the fuck are you?
Yeah.
You need that little bit of a chip on your shoulder. That's one thing I have to
start learning a little bit more, is actually taking a step back and looking at like what I've done. For me, I'm just so in tunnel vision that it's like, I know where I want to be, and I'm not there yet. So for me, it's like I can't look back.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing. If I start doing a bit more, looking back at how far I've come, then voices just get lower and lower. And
looking back doesn't mean that you're satisfied with where you're at now, but you're satisfied with the fact that you're not there anymore.
100%. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's what. Why the fuck am I giving you advice? I don't have a clothing brand, but
advice that's the thing for me as well, is I'll take advice from anybody.
It's more like just a debate on the concept of doubt. I think, because I appreciate you as a person. You know, like I want to see you do like amazing things and all that kind of shit.
Same for yourself as well.
And it's like you're doing unreal stuff, but I don't want you to be an angry person on the side.
Yeah. Oh, and I think that is probably like one thing that like it's nearly put on an exterior as well. Is the whole thing as well. But like, maybe you're not that same person inside. But I think you kind of show that side of you as well, because then it looks like nothing can faze you.
Yeah.
So you're kind of nearly like masquerading yourself. You're kind of telling yourself that this thing, so that you can push forward, and so that doesn't faze you. But there will be a point where like that whole kind of facade probably maybe like calms down a little bit when I get to a point when like I get to a certain point that will definitely come down. But for now, it's like just tunnel vision. In
fairness, I do get that as well, because I've seen your comment section sometimes, and I've seen my comment section as well, and the user 1234s and their comments are infuriating at times. Like, it doesn't affect you. Like you're not losing sleep over it, but it's not nice. It's like a pinch.
Yeah.
And constant pinching then irritates you.
Yeah, 100%. And and it's always, as you said, the user 1, 2, whatever. Like
always.
It's mostly TikTok that I get that on though. I never have ever gotten anyone DM me on Instagram.
Yeah,
because it's coming from a personal account, so it's just
Same.
TikTok for me.
I spoke with a few TikTok creators, and it's because of the anonymity that comes with TikTok. Yeah. But what I've found really helpful is that these people are just comfortable doing that. They get on with their day. Like, kind of on topic, but not exactly. But I've been trying to be a bit more conscious about like social media consumption and stuff. And I'm like, okay, do I know the last 5 TikTok videos I watched? No. All right, that's a problem. Like, let's work on that. These people are literally scrolling away and just leaving comments and forgetting what the fuck they said.
And for me as well, it's like, maybe I don't see that kind of side as well because I'm not as much of a consumer as I am like a creator, if that makes sense. So for me, like if I go wake up tomorrow and like if the day I have in my head made it with the brand is I'm off, I'm ghost on everything. Like for me, it's like I want to go ghost. I don't want to be posting on Instagram. I don't want to be posting on TikTok. I want to just go ghost. So for me, like I'm just waiting for that moment to get off this stuff. But for some people, it's just consuming so much.
I consume it mostly for inspiration. Yeah. Which is...
Well, I'd say your For You page on TikTok is a lot. It's a For You page that is like adding value. So even for me, my TikTok is like motivational talks and stuff like that. But a lot of people's For You page is just junk. It's just, it's not actually added. Like, even though TikTok is not good for you, like per se, it's like I'm still getting like maybe a bit of an advantage from that.
Yeah, you get a few ideas. That's the thing. It's like, oh, I like the way they introduced that. I like the way they cut that podcast clip, So like, it's super for that. It's more just stepping away where it's like, okay, you got your inspiration for the day. Like, jot down that idea. Yeah. Don't go back on TikTok to find more ones because that's like shit dopamine, in my opinion. Yeah. But anyways, like that's basically it when it comes to like TikTok and hate. It used to piss me off a lot more. And it's interesting because I used to bring it up so much more on the podcast.
Okay.
But you can tell that I was just irritated and like, the reason why I like documenting conversations is because you can really tell where you were at in that moment in time.
Well, yeah.
And I had such a hating relationship with that. And you can tell it was getting to me. So now it's more like, okay, like I feel like I haven't talked about it in a good few episodes anyways. Yeah. But it's like, doesn't matter. Like I'm ready I believe that the conversations I'm having now are good enough and bring value enough where if a 15-second clip irritated someone or triggered someone, it's fine.
Like 100%. And like even myself, it was like getting a lot of them comments, but it was like, how can I take advantage of this as well? So that's what
you did one with when someone told you that Lidl are hiring Christmas part-time staff and you told them, what did you tell them? It was something like, good to know once I bring your ma over for some Lidl cookies or something.
Yeah, you can check us out or something like.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, the thing is, it was like, my brand was so, I think I said this before, but my brand was so clean.
Was it?
It was so business.
Was it like professional? Like we are happy to announce.
Everything was because I wanted to be a business, so it wasn't a personal thing. Everything was like clean. It was like even when I was posting stories, they were like a nice background. It was too professional. I think that was a reason as well why it looked. No one wants to buy for robot. So that whole professional thing wasn't like, unless you're like a Stone Island or a big designer, then you can be like that. But for me, it was like it just looked too kind of. Fake it,
and it fits in with the streetwear brand as well.
So once I started becoming myself, and I realized like I can actually just be myself and coming back to these people like this, it was actually adding, like it was getting more people to follow the brand, that kind of thing. That just made me dangerous. Yeah. Like now I'm on smoking comments. Like I used to like be infuriated that like I couldn't comment back because I was like, oh, that's not professional. But now it's like, here we go. Like this, I actually wait for these comments to come back so I can put them up on my Instagram story, because they got sent around. Like when I put that on my Instagram story, people will send that to their friends, and then their friends will follow the brand. So it's like it's actually an advantage when I get hate comments. So like, please leave hate comments on me. Like, and it's on TikTok, I love it.
Oh, that would be really good as like a product collection or something. Just having like a little photo album or something.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea.
Yeah.
I have them all screenshotted as well. So
Screenshots, like do something with that for sure. I love listening to you talk about like that self-discovery of yours through design and through this brand. It's super.
Yeah.
Has your fashion changed much, or is it just Ocean One now?
Yeah, everything I wear is Ocean One.
Yeah.
Everything. But I respect a lot. I think I've got more of expensive taste now.
Okay.
But not in like I want to buy a 300 euro t-shirt or whatever, but more of like I really respect what other designers are doing.
I get you.
Which I never had that before.
So before you used to look at like a 50 euro white t-shirt and like, fuck no, I'm going to Pennies.
Yeah.
And now you're like, that 50 euro means something.
Yeah. Or like, I can now, like, I think once you get into like a space, you can kind of respect a lot more. So even like a design or something, like, I'm like, wow, like that's a crazy design. Like, but for me, it's like, I don't buy it. I look at it and get inspiration from it and I make my own.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So for me, it's like my fashion hasn't really changed. Like, I think I still kind of wear what I kind of wore before, but just more of like, even like a tracksuit. Like it's an Ocean One tracksuit. It's more me, but it's still a tracksuit. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like the fitting is different. Like it's nice and minimal, that kind of thing. Whereas before, like it might be a Nike Tech tracksuit, but now it's like a Cianan tracksuit. If that makes sense. So it's the same but different.
Yeah.
But yeah. For me, for now, it's like I just love looking at. Even like I study like a lot of like designers, like how they got to where they are now, and just no really successful designer story is overnight. It's always failures of they've had 2 or 3 brands, and that's what's kept me going as well. Is it's seeing that, like, and I think the failure is going to be what makes your brand what it is. That that kind of thing. So
one day it will be a fashion show or something, runway.
Yeah, I really want to be in Paris Fashion Week someday.
Oh,
that's like that's the heights I have for it. Like it's not just I want to make t-shirts. Like I want to make it to the point where I can be in these shows. I can not dresses that are like really tailored, and so I don't have the skills for that. More of like designing like off-white or like Bape or that kind of thing, like that kind of streetwear, which is like it's still me, but it's like, can we get that on the runway kind of thing? Because I actually don't know the history, but I don't think there's been any Irish brands on a Paris Fashion Week.
I wouldn't know much. Obviously, Irish models. In fairness, I feel like when it comes to European countries and stuff, it's like, unless you're based in unless
Milan
you're
Paris,
French, Italian, British.
Yeah, you're not really getting anywhere. That's
Yeah.
And even like Ocean One, when I first started, like I was kind of toying with the idea of like, the way you have like Kenzo Paris, or they kind of also have a Paris, or Balenciaga Paris, or there's a London, or like they have where they're from. It was like, can I do Ocean One draw that? But then I was like, no.
People already like have an issue with anyone. Like people have issues with my accent, and it's not Irish. Irish people have issues with the Irish accent as well.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Even, what's crazy? I live in Drogheda, but like I'm not like originally from Drogheda.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
From Dublin.
Oh, okay.
But like when I first moved to Drogheda, like I couldn't understand what anyone was saying. So even like if you go out in Drogheda, like I love Drogheda, but like if people get too drunk, I don't know what they're saying. Still, like it's crazy. But yeah, Drogheda. That's the thing. You need to get people on as well from Drogheda.
Just
like,
go over.
Drogheda is like there's so many successful people in Drogheda right now.
People based in Drogheda either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the music as well is making people.
Music is unreal. I feel like all of them are based in Drogheda.
I think people from Drogheda are getting more pride about being from Drogheda as well. I think people like look at Drogheda now of like this kind of, you have Dublin, you have Cork, you have Drogheda. Like Droghera's becoming its own place. It's known in Ireland now. Like I think you have it's crazy. So much stuff is coming from Drogheda right now. Like you have the biggest artists, you have probably the biggest manager of Irish artists. You have Ocean One. Like there's so much coming out of this like small place in Ireland, like which is crazy. Like so, yeah, Drogheda is just something in the war, as Safo said.
Up Drogheda. You see, I have no affiliation. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because I'm not from here. So, but I do like the East. I love the east of Ireland. I like the side.
Yeah. When you go to the other side of Ireland, it's just
I don't like the west side.
I think it's windy and rainy here, man. You go to that side and it's...
Oh my God. And it's actual proof. Like, you're on the door. It's literally Dublin to Galway. The moment that you get to Galway, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
crazy. That side of the
unreal.
world is mad. It actually baffles me that people over there wear Ocean One.
Yeah.
Like that as well as like, what are you like, how are you wearing it in Mayo, man? Like,
windbreakers are next.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that'd be a big seller over there.
Yeah. I'll just like dodge in a few like products.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cianan, for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me as well.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening. Ciao.
I'm back in that. Yeah. What you doing? Yeah. I'm back in that. Hey. Where you going? Hey.